Hello there, my name is Prue, and this video is looking at the new moon, which is happening tomorrow afternoon. That's October the 14th, Saturday, around 5:47 p.m. Now, new moons are always really important, pivotal times in the month because they signify a new beginning, a new chapter is opening, a new moon cycle starts. And typically, we'd look up at the sky and we wouldn't see any moon. Now, the moon doesn't actually have its own light, it's always reflecting the sun, but for all the extents and purposes, we would look up and we'd see a dark sky. And in many ways, that's kind of the energy that a new moon brings. It's much quieter, it's more introverted. It's a really important time for us to go inward, to reflect in many ways. So when people talk about new moon wishes and new moon intentions and what are we going to do around a new moon, it isn't necessarily about taking action, but it's about sowing seeds. It's about going, where would I like my life to move towards? And then we would look at what sign is this new moon in and how is that going to be influencing certain parts of our life. So this new moon is in the sign of Libra. Libra is a cardinal sign, so it's proactive, it's go-getting, it's ambitious, it wants to move things forward. Libra is an air sign, so it's connected to the mind, especially relationships, about connections that we have with others. So what we would typically expect to find around a sort of a new moon in Libra is there is a focus on our relationships. Now, well, it's interesting that Libra is the only sign that's represented by an inanimate object, the scales. And scales of justice or fairness, so those themes are always very sort of connected to Libra. What's fair, what's right, what's in balance. So it's a great time for us to look at what is in balance within ourselves, but any areas that are out of balance in our external world, especially our relationships, it's going to be harder to ignore in many ways. So just notice that if anything is arising for you, if anything is being stirred, it's not necessarily the wisest thing to do to push it away. It's actually to invite it in. What is the message that this new moon wishes you to know? Now, this isn't just an ordinary new moon. This is in many ways a new moon on steroids because it's a solar eclipse. Now, eclipses we tend to have between sort of 4 and 8 a year. This is the last eclipse season that's happening in autumn of 2023. But we always want to pay attention to eclipses because they signify beginnings and endings. They're there to propel us forward, to move us forward in kind of giant quantum leaps, but they can be wild cards. We're never quite sure what we're going to get. Bernadette Brady, she's wrote an amazing book, Predictive Astrology. She always says they can feel like gentle rain or hailstones. It very much depends on our perspective or what area of our life the eclipse is aspecting. Now, the last time we had this eclipse in this precise placement was 19 years ago. So that was October 2004. So I always find it really useful to look back. What was going on in my life? Can I remember? Sometimes I have to kind of like get some old diaries out, or I'll have a sort of guess around the themes that were emerging in my life. So I can remember at the time what was going on and what was grabbing my attention, and are similar things coming up now? Is there anything that's been left undone or wishes for completion right now, especially connected to relationships, connected to balance? And for me, Libra is very much connected to my approach to life. I'm a Libra rising. We all have a sign that's our rising sign. And being a Libra rising, I feel the influence of this eclipse more strongly. What is it that I want to let go of, and what is it that I want more of? And this moon is connected to the South Node, which is very much the past. The South Node represents conditioned behaviors, old actions, old responses. What is it that we need to release and let go of? So this is a really pivotal time for us to connect to that energy that's bigger than ourselves, to look up at the sky and say, oh, it's dark, it's reflective, it's time for me to go inward. Typically we would have less energy around a new moon because we ourselves are asking us to rest more, to be in that stillness. I also find it useful to remember that in astrology, Libra rules the kidneys. So I always try and pay extra care and attention to my kidneys, especially around Libra season. So whatever shape or form that looks like, But I also am reminded that Libra holds the energy of, not Libra, the kidneys are said to hold the energy of fear. So anytime that we're thinking about a new beginning, what it is that I want to let go of, what do I want more of, sometimes fear can be stirred, especially now. But know that if any of these uncomfortable feelings are arising again, if we can welcome them in, because we know they're not going to last, they're going to pass. So this is a profound time for us to take a step back, to look at where we are in our lives. What do we want to acknowledge? What do we want to let go of? And truly, what are the messages that are coming through our intuition, our dreams, because that's where the moon rules. We're now in the autumn and moving into the winter months. This is her domain. The moon rules these parts of the seasons. So the more we can pay attention to the mysteries, what is it that's emerging through our sleep in some ways? This is all really important information to help us flow even more strongly, to shine our light even more brightly. And the more that we can connect with that force that's more than ourselves, the better life can be.